I really see flat Earth as a strong warrior against scientism. I really think it plays an important role. And how I define scientism is blind faith belief in whatever people think science is saying. So even if they don't even understand it, they accept it as truth. Even if they have misunderstood the science, they still believe with zealousness that their misinterpretation of what science has said is the truth, and it's the divine truth, it's unquestionable truth, right? I think when I talk about scientism, I'm talking about the religion that has replaced actual science. And it's a religion because it is a set of beliefs, and they're slightly dogmatic, right? And there are all these practices and rituals that go along with this system of beliefs. And these rituals include the scientific method, and they include the discourse and how you're allowed to probe science and how you're allowed to probe scientists and what you're allowed to question and what you're not allowed to question. And even the practice of ridiculing those people who dare to question or challenge what you think science has said, even that is a ritual of the religion. So there's, to me, whenever you have blind faith, that's unscientific. Because in science, you should be able to look at the data, look at the evidence, and analyze it, investigate it, assess it. You should be able to look to see not just do the conclusions sound plausible, but the interpretation that was used to go from the data, the raw data, to the conclusion. What about that interpretation? Is it a valid interpretation? Does that interpretation make assumptions? Does it come with a biased worldview? Does it include prejudices? Because all interpretations inevitably do. And so that's what I feel like I'm fighting against is scientism. It's that dogmatic, rigid, blind faith system, and the zealots of science. And that's another sign of a religious system rather than a method that you use to find truth, to find knowledge. You have zealots. So you have these zealots of scientism who are trying to defend their God, their religion, and they're attacking anyone that they think is somehow challenging their religion. Whereas if you were actually just a fan of science, a fan of the pursuit of knowledge, when people challenge science, you would see that as scientific. It is part of science to challenge the beliefs in science, the statements that science makes. That's what science is all about. It's about saying, here are these things that we think about the world, and are they true? Are they not true? What evidence can we accumulate to test out whether they're true or not true? What are our theories about these things, and how do our theories fit together? That's science. So a flat earther saying, I'm analyzing the globe model and I'm finding flaws in it and I want to discuss it, and my theory is that the earth is actually flat, and here's some of the data that I've collected that seems to support my theory. That is science. Ridiculing people who do that is not standing up for science. It's actually destroying science, because what you're doing is you're becoming a zealot for scientism. And that is an oppressive religion that doesn't allow itself to be challenged outside of the parameters that it has set for itself, right? How do we establish truth? And how do we go about determining what is acceptable to ask when it comes to our investigation of what is true, right? And so I feel like when people start saying, this is what we've decided, and you're not allowed to challenge that, And if you do, then we hate you and you're a Nazi. Or, right? Like, I think that there's a problem there. And so anyone who attacks flat earthers, anyone who mocks flat earthers, ridicules them, puts them down, bashes flat earthers, they are outing themselves as religious zealots, as anti-science, because flat earth is the epitome of science. It's us. It's individuals, and we're searching for truth, and we're searching for knowledge about our world, and we're doing it in our own way. We're getting together, we're saying, look, this is this data I've collected, and how can we interpret it in an unbiased way, and what conclusions can we draw from it? That is science, right? And these religious zealots of scientism, they think science only happens at universities, at CERN, where people are published in these journals that are controlled, and the peer review, which is basically just people who have a vested interest in not having their own theories upended or disproven, right? Like that's a system, that's a set of beliefs, and it's a set of practices, and it's a set of rituals. It's a religion. And that's why I get so angry at people in my comment section that try to pretend to themselves that they're somehow standing up for science by bashing me, by bashing flat earth, by mocking, ridiculing, putting down all of this negative, by hating us, by thumbing down my videos. That is anti-science. And what I find is that a lot of these people are typically kind of low-level, powerless in real life. Maybe they have like only first-year physics, or they have engineering, so they have a little bit of physics, but then they feel like that makes them somehow defenders of science, but they don't even know what science is because they're actually just defending their religion. And I find that if you think your religion is under attack, and you want to defend your religion, okay, but then acknowledge that it's a religion that you're defending. But if you're saying that you're standing up for science, you're not. And I actually am trying to stand up for science. I am trying to defend science from the corruption of these people, these zealots. I feel like they're corrupting science, and that's what I'm trying to defend. So